stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday, July 16, 2024, Porter County Board of Commissioners meeting. We'll start with the consent agenda.
Approval of payroll June 21st and July 5th, 2024. Approval of claims June 20th, June 27th, July 3rd, 2024. Approval of minutes June 18th and June 25th, July 2nd, and July 11th, 2024. Weights and Measures Monthly Report May 16th through June 15th, 2024. Weights and Measures Annual Report June 16th, 2023 through June 15th, 2024. Memorial Opera House Artistic Services Agreement. Cindy Harrison, $200. Alexandra Ingram, $150. Adam Falk, $200. Memorial Opera House Venue Rental Agreement. Michael McDermott and the Arsonist, $2,000.
I move that we approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Announcements. Scott, could you come up?
And just in case anybody didn't hear before, we don't have audio right now, so if you're speaking or if you're listening, if you need to move up to be able to hear, and we'll try speaking louder as well. Yeah. We'll put on our theater.
There it is.
Yes.
Project.
Scott, we are announcing Scott McDonald is our interim director of the Memorial Opera House. And Laura, Barb, do you have any more to add to yours?
Thrilled to have him back.
Thank you.
And looking forward to working together.
Thanks. Glad to be back.
And I'm just so glad that we have somebody to work with on the actual renovation, because there's so many things that are coming up, and for us to try to manage it all, it's really great to have
Sure.
somebody that we can turn to. Thank you for coming back, and thank you for accepting the role as the interim director.
It's my pleasure, and I appreciate the opportunity. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. So,
Welcome home.
thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Yep, my pleasure. Thank
Glad
you.
to see you again.
Yep, glad to be back.
We have a proclamation written by Commissioner Blaney. Laura?
My printer wasn't working this morning. It's more of a statement. Okay,
Yes.
You guys. I gotta use my loud voice for
Take
the whole thing.
Take your time.
My loud voice isn't very loud. The Porter County Board of Commissioners unequivocally condemns the recent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump and all acts of violence in politics. Such actions are an affront to our democratic values and threaten the principles of justice and rule of law that we hold dear. Our thoughts are with Mr. Trump and his family during this difficult time. As a unified board, we stand firmly against political violence in all its forms. It is imperative that we maintain a political environment rooted in respect, dialogue, and the peaceful resolution of differences. We here are committed to upholding the safety and security of all public officials and to fostering a community where every citizen can engage in the political process without fear of violence.
Thank you. Thank you. Certainly agree with everything you wrote. So we're going to move on. This is kind of let's look forward to this portion of the Commissioners meeting. We are honoring two of our appointments, one being Mark Brickner and the other being Luther Williams. These two gentlemen have a combined years of service on the BZA, and Mr. Williams also sits on the Plan Commission, but they have a combined years of service of over 42, about a little over 42 years now. And I approached the commissioners, my fellow commissioners, about doing this. And I think the reason I did is that, we struggle at times up here to define qualified, committed professionals to sit on the myriad of boards that we have to appoint to. And, every now and again, that an appointment will stand out. And these two gentlemen, to me, with my number of years of experience in county government, have really stood out. They don't ask you for anything. They do their job. You don't hear complaints about them. They show up every day. They show up on time. And I just thought it was very important that the Porter County Board of Commissioners, Porter County government, show its appreciation for the professionalism for which they approach their jobs. Could have Marv come up?
Can I add too that this board in particular, people are personally liable, so it's not a board that people are lining up to get on.
Yeah.
It's a tough job.
It is.
Thank goodness for guys like Scott McClure and Christy Marcos that really help us tremendously through difficult decisions to make sometimes. And I thank the board, the commissioners, for their confidence in me to keep me on the Board of Zoning Appeals for all these years. I think, Scott, we've 3,000 cases that we've heard over a period of time that I've been here.
26 years.
Has it been 20? I wasn't really sure about that.
It's almost as old as me.
I remember Karen, you've been here for, I'm sorry.
I was going to say that, Laura, but...
Thank you so much. Oh, that's very nice. I didn't expect this. Thank you very much.
Well deserved. Thank you so much.
Oh.
I got it, you got it, okay.
Nobody likes us so good. Does it work?
Oh, okay, picture?
Yeah, no, we just want a picture of the three of us.
You used to come to the meetings, I remember.
Luther, could you, we'll come to you. We don't have a microphone because we're working today anyway, so. Thank you for your 16 years on the ETA. Look forward to 16 more. You want to get a picture of this?
I wasn't sure that, how many years.
One over here, sir.
righty, moving on, opening of bids for the 2024 Community Crossing Matching Grant project. Jim Polaric.
And Ryan has this.
Martin. Start when you're ready.
All right, we ready to open those?
Yep.
Okay, we have 2 bids today. The first one is from Milestone Contractors LP.
Speak up a little, Ryan.
Sorry,
Please,
the
thank you.
first one is from Milestone Contractors LP.
Milestone Contractors LP, $3,385,719.46. Milestone Contractors LP, $3,385,719.46.
Second bid is from Reeve Riley.
Reeve Riley, $3,192,322.96. Reeve Riley, $3,192,322.96.
Jim, can you just tell us exactly what they were bidding on?
This is for the Community Crossings Grant through the state. County pays 1.5, the state gives us 1.5, so.
And this is for paving, right?
This is for paving, correct.
You're going to take those back with you.
Right, we'll be back.
You're advising before the end of the meeting?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, give us your recommendation. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a memorandum of understanding between the Porter County Board of Commissioners, the Porter County Recorder, to have the Commissioners' meeting minutes books preserved and restored in the amount of $129,881.25, which will be paid for by the Recorder. I like the sound of that. Where's she at?
No, that's Chuck Harris.
Where he's... You're right. Oh, Chuck. So we're going to need a motion on this.
I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding between the commissioners and the recorder to have the commissioners' meeting minutes books preserved and restored in the amount of $129,881.25 to be paid for by the recorder.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Skillman, project updates. Morning.
Good morning.
Just ask you to speak up. We're limping a little here.
Let
Storm
me-
took out our audio, our
Yeah. Just let me know if I'm not speaking up loud enough. Unfortunately, I had photos that I was wishing to share, but with technology, I'll
That's okay.
share them for the next meeting.
Let's start with the Memorial Opera House.
So progress update, we are completely enclosed right now in the lobby. We finished all the subfloor, patching all that back in. Right now we're finishing all of our electrical rough-ins, piping rough-ins that go up to the second floor bar, as well as all the code lighting and getting everything ready for casework to be set. Once that's all complete, then our tile contractor will work on the rest of the floors, and we'll get all the rest of the finishes buttoned up here about middle of next month. Bathrooms, they've all been boarded up. We got all the cover board for all the tile work, and the tile contractor's actually be starting later this week. We are working on all the exterior doors right now. We've actually been removing them. We have a little bit of repair work to do for the jambs for all the exterior doors, but once we have those completed, all the frames are already on site. We'll set those in place, get those back and weathered in, and in the meantime, just protect from any water or rain damage that could potentially come to the building, make sure that doesn't get into the building right now. And then the other thing that we're doing right now is in the basement. We have all the boilers arrived yesterday, so those are all being set in place. All the pumps are getting set. The rest of the equipment, as well as that air handler unit, all the pieces and parts that come for that, will be brought down into the basement, get set up, and then we'll be able to get piping, electrical, everything else hooked up for that full system, get that operational about middle of August.
All right. Then we have Irwin Seating, change order number 1 for additional parts to add to 2 seats in the amount of $638.30.
Yeah, this is just for a few components to add 2 total seats to the count. On the first floor, right next to the tech box, we moved the tech box over to one side of the aisle, and that actually gave us room to add 2 more seats. So this is just the additional cost for the additional parts that they needed in order to add those 2 seats.
Scott, do we need a motion to approve this?
Yes.
Can we do all these together, or do we?
We can do the pay apps together, but let's do the change order
Okay,
separate.
I move that we approve the change order number 1 for additional parts to add 2 seats with Irwin Seating in the amount of $638.30.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. And then, Circle R Mechanical, we got a pay app, I'm just gonna read these off.
Sure.
Circle R Mechanical pay app number 2 for plumbing work in the amount of $34,437.50. Mechanical Concepts pay app number 3, bid category number 3, mechanical in the amount of $68,495.95. And MCOR Hair Electric pay app number 3, bid package number 2 in the amount of $125,439.58. And then Midwest Tile and Interiors pay app number 2, bid category 5, flooring in the amount of $4,750. I'll entertain a motion to,
So moved.
Second.
whoa. So moved what? You gotta-
Everything you just said, because you read them
Yeah,
all.
but you have to, your motion, you have to motion to approve.
Okay, a motion to approve pay app number 2 with Circle R Mechanical, which you read. Pay app number 3 with Mechanical Concepts, which you just read. Pay app number 3 with MCOR Higher Electric, which you just read. Pay app number 2 with Midwest Tile and Interiors, which you just read.
Second.
There. We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Highway Department, update.
Highway Department, and bear with me, I'm covering for Paul and Scott this week.
You're doing great.
Thank you. We're just finalizing all the contracts with contractors, waiting to get all the paperwork back from them, and then have them sent to you so that we can have them authorized, preferably for the next commissioners meeting in August. Right now, there's no issues with that. We did have a development meeting last week with the county to review all the site plans and everything was approved. So we're just finalizing all the permitting, getting everything ready to mobilize here by about the end of July, more than likely early August.
And you'll relay back to Paul that we're going to need new milestones since all of these,
Yes.
we won't be reprinting these back in the agenda anymore since all of them have been completed, and then if you could just have them submit new ones to.
Absolutely. For that and the jail, I will also
Yeah,
have those milestones updated.
Preliminary milestones, advertising for bids approval 5/14/24, BZA board meeting approval 5/21/24, 100% drawings based on BZA adjustments 5/24/24, bid packet released 5/27/24, bid date 6/25/24, special meeting bid opening, notice to proceed special meeting July 2nd, 2024. Correct?
Yes, so I will have Paul update all those milestones for the foreseeable future, start of construction, and just when we're planning on having all the different major milestones of construction completed.
and jail update. Before we do that, let's tell everybody, I think it kind of, you keep this in the front of how things have changed, how prices of things have changed so much in such a relatively short period of time. You know, we built that jail, or they moved into that jail in 2002. And that jail was roughly $22 million to build. We're renovating, fair to say, a lot of that jail, but not all of it today. The renovations of that jail are going to cost roughly $29 million.
Right now, at the budget that we currently stand for the next package next year, yes.
Yes.
And we'll see how
This gives you an idea. And I was told by the architect, if we were to build a new jail of that same size using roughly the same type of layout and material, we're probably looking at something between $75 to $100 million jail.
Sure, somewhere around there, I would say, yeah. Brand new building.
It's incredible.
Yeah. 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. I know my house ain't going up that much.
No.
So,
Taxes out.
yeah, the taxes went. Thanks for that, Mark. Go ahead with the jail if you want to.
Sure, and
We're not going to do any issue with number 2, so if there's a milestone.
so it's similar to the highway department, they're just finalizing contracts with the roofing contractor, getting ready to start some of that construction here in early to mid-August, maybe a little earlier, but the roofers just finished starting back up with construction, so we're working through some of those details with them, finalizing paperwork, getting ready to get that project started.
Great. That's it. Well, thank you very much. You have any questions?
No, do you have any questions for me?
No, sir, I don't.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Health Department Corner Veteran Admin Space Renovation Update. Morning, Joe.
Good morning. Good morning, good morning. So just to kind of give you guys a brief update on what's going on. This project had gone out to bid. We've had several bidders on this project. Excuse me. Today before you, you will have the awarding of the bids based on the recommendation by Corrigan Clark and staff. We've reviewed the bids submitted by Berglund, Haas, Gibbons, Lewis, and Garia. Excuse me. The recommendation by Corrigan Clark, legal and staff, is to approve the base bid and alternatives 1 and 2 with Berglund in the combined total of $1,365,200. Sorry, which was the lowest responsive bidder. So we're going to be...
And it did come in under budget.
Yes, significantly. So that's our recommendation for the award.
I move that we approve.
Hang on. Come in under budget. I don't understand that. How to come in under budget?
Sorry.
We originally had.
Originally had, it was like 1.7.
Was one. Well, no. Originally we had allotted $1 million for that project, and then it went to 1.7.
Based on their review.
And now it's back down to 1.365.
That's
So
correct.
that's the construction.
Okay.
So that
I just don't want to.
doesn't include cell sites.
Okay.
And just while we're waiting for Joe to come back,
Sorry about
so
that.
there was $1 million that came from ARPA funds. 55,000 of that was spent over at 157 Franklin to make that so that we could move voters registration, which then allowed us to move Veterans Administration and the coroner over into the old voters registration space. When we got our first estimate back, it was at $1.457 million. And at that point in time, we spoke to Carrie Geschwind and said, this is over the amount of money. Do you want to see if you can find additional funds? Or do we go back to the drawing board and keep it under the $955,000? she was able to use Indiana First funding from 2024 funding and 2025 funding to meet that. Then the additional hiccup came in when we found out that the HVAC system had to be modified because it was not up to code. It was just recirculating air. It was not bringing in new air. And so she was able to, that set us back about a month and a half because she had additional funding for that she was able to do. And so all of this funding is coming out of her budgeted amount.
And I'm assuming that they had received approval from the county council.
Carrie is meeting with the council and the auditors to get that funding allocated.
Yeah, I know it has nothing to do with you or this board, it's just, I hope they understand that. Because the council was under the impression that that project was gonna be $1 million. Now, as you did, that cold air return, that will kick it up another 300 or so thousand. I understand that. But it just, we just can't arbitrarily say, okay, well, it is what it is. The council needs to know about that. They have to sign off on that.
And next week, we're actually on the agenda with the county council to go over,
So update them on this
Carrie,
Okay.
we're
All right.
on their agenda next week.
You will be okay?
Yeah, I hope so.
So I move that we approve the Berlin construction contract in the amount of $1,365,200 for the health department, coroner, veteran, administration space renovations.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Preliminary milestones, Joe? You see final design drawings?
So we've got all of that underway. Right now, we have scheduled for Friday, the 26th at 9 a.m. We'll be having a kickoff meeting with the general contractor.
You don't have to go through those individually, like, just,
What's that?
just read them.
No.
We got a long agenda.
Just an update
Okay.
for that, so I'm not even going to touch on all that. Just giving you an update that on the 26th, that is our next, basically, action date. We'll be issuing a notice to proceed on this tomorrow. That's pretty much project update.
And then, just like with the other ones, I've asked Joe if he would give us new milestones, because we've got
We'll update those for the commissioners at their next meeting.
we've got 3 phases, and so just to give us some milestones then for those 3.
Yeah, so when we get the project update for the county council prepared, we'll send that to the commissioners also, just so you have a copy of that on that.
Thank you. Facilities, Joe, we have Trump Glass and Mirror, a quote to replace the exit door on the second floor of the admin building in the amount of $9,900.
Yeah, so there's a problem with that door. We had one of the contractors look at it. To fix the door, the existing door, it's about $6,000 just to fix it. To replace the existing door is $9,900, and by replacing, taking the whole door frame, everything out, fixing the swing of the door is the amount that's before you, the $9,900. Additionally, Videotech to quote to replace and relocate the card reader, to add a video and a push button request for access to that, and an access release point at the front desk there. That would be an additional $4,251, which is an integral part of that whole mechanism. And to also have the ADA and all that stuff, that's all included in that total price. So that's what we're asking for approval on. Also, we're asking for the commissioner's recommendation and for assistance for funding on this as well.
I was going to say, how's our budget looking? I feel like we've had a lot.
We have room for this? Okay.
What,
The intent for all of our doors is to change the swing, because right now they have the wrong swing. So
Right,
if there is an emergency, you can't push the door to get out.
Right, and we
You
can
have
get
to
quotes
pull
for
the
all
door.
of that right now, but we're just kind of waiting on funding as the year
Well,
progresses.
because it's an exit door, and I think Barb makes a good point, is that if there something to happen in this building, we had to get out quickly.
Yeah.
That has to operate.
Well, and it's an emergency situation now because that door's not functioning properly to begin with. So we're asking for the commissioners to take action on that.
We'll entertain a motion.
One more question. What's wrong with it right now?
It's not latching, so if you were to exit, the door does not close, and literally just blowing in the wind, sometimes. So we sent out an email to everyone within the building to make sure that the door closed.
It's not air pressure kind of thing?
It's not even that, it's not functioning the way it should be.
Yesterday when I left, that door was wide open all the way as far as it could be, so.
Well, it has happened in the past, but it's been an air pressure
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Well, because the door's literally blowing in, because
And even with the air pressure, I mean, if it's latching properly, the air pressure is not going to affect it. It's not going to blow it open.
Right. And it'll have a proper crash bar on.
Because when this building closes at night, the air, as we know, heating and cooling operates when nobody's here. And if that were to blow open, now it's,
So it can literally just blow open right now.
It could, until it's latched at night. Once it's latched at night and closed and secured, it won't open because that latch won't release.
so it's from people walking in and out of it, and they're not,
That's correct.
it's not self-latching.
That's correct. So it's just not, it's not closing and latching.
All
That's why
right.
we're asking people when they leave to make sure that they secure the door, so that way it doesn't have that problem.
And the problem with that is even if security goes and checks that, if somebody stays late and they have to leave through that door, not, be mindful of,
Right.
it could be wide open. So. All right. Did you make a motion? I'm sorry.
Doug, can I do both of those? Because both of those are for the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, I move that we approve replacing the exit door on the second floor of the admin building in the amount of $9,900 with truck glass and mirror, as well as replacing the employee card access for that exit door in the admin building in the amount of $4,251 with video check.
I have one more question on, do we have to change everybody's employee card?
No. It's the same access point. Same access point. But good question.
We have a motion and a second.
I didn't second, but I will.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had about 2 hours sleep last night. Would you like to second?
I said I will.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
I am getting worried about that budget.
So the next item is a Videotech quote that we received. This is for the dock door. This was identified as a security access point problem. It is a problem. The door was left unlocked and unsecured overnight. Security guard found it and discovered that the door was unlocked. By security guard, I mean our sheriff department. They contacted me immediately and let me know that the door was unsecured. We don't have any way of knowing that it's unsecured without physically checking it, and that's become problematic. But now, with the recommendation that we have here, there will be a video camera on the dock, facing out. There'll be a push-button access and a release point at the front desk, so they can let deliveries in. They'll know who's coming in that door now and/or going out, and it will have badge access on it as well. Right now, it does not have that.
Have we listed any, homeland security type grants for this?
No, in fact, there's not on this agenda, but there's other grants that we're going to be looking for ADA access and stuff like that with respect to the parking garage ramp and other ADA issues, but not on the security.
Yeah, typically they offer, you can find where they offer for the study of a security of a building.
Right.
But to purchase of anything brick or mortar, it's really tough to find.
This has just become problematic recently.
Yeah.
On this.
Well, the commissioners have, probably over the last year and a half or so, we kind of have a heightened awareness of the security on our properties, and I've asked you, I've asked Lee, I've asked Lance Bella to take a look at things and come back to us and show us where our vulnerability is.
And we have implemented some of those changes, including securing our mailroom and stuff like that. So a lot of the simple stuff we've kind of taken, and not even on just this building, but even on other buildings, like for instance, locking front door.
But there's so much more to do, and as Laura touched on, which is, we're getting very close to being in an uncomfortable position with our budget.
Yeah.
And we're only in July, so.
Yeah.
We do have a county grant writer that you might not have come in contact with, Danielle.
Mary Jane? Yeah.
Yeah, Danielle.
Or Danielle, okay.
Yeah, and I can send you her
Okay.
info.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk to her because whatever
She's
whatever
really
grants
good.
we have
She's
available,
really
I'm all about, so.
And stay close to Lance Bella through there, because,
I think
Of course.
Lance works with her pretty regularly.
Okay, good.
because the correspondence through, for grant money runs through Homeland Security, and he has direct correspondence with them, so. Anyway, do you have anything else?
No, that's enough.
Well, thank you. Hope you feel better.
Hopefully I didn't spend all of Lee's
Wait
money
a second, we didn't do anything with the third.
on the second video thing, sorry.
I'd rather wait and look at grants myself.
Okay, well, what risk do we take on by waiting? Any?
Well, do we want to even talk about this in public? That's my concern.
Well, we already have.
I mean, the door is locked.
With respect to the
Somebody
door,
left it
the door is
unlocked.
right now secured, it's locked. It just won't be unlocked because I removed the problem.
Shelley's not gonna print anything about this anyway. Okay. It's up to you all. You wanna move forward, you wanna wait? Oh, she wants to wait.
Let's put it on our agenda for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fine.
we'll
Thank
wait.
you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Joe. Animal shelter. Jen? Morning. We got a request to increase fees as follows, effective January 1st, 2025. Why don't you read down through these for us?
$50 reclaim fee for altered animal first offense, I would like to raise to $60. $75 reclaim fee for intact animal first offense, raised to $100. $75 reclaim fee for altered animal second offense, $100. $100 reclaim fee for intact animal second offense, raised to $120. $100 reclaim fee for altered animal third and subsequent offenses, raised to $120, and $125 reclaim fee for intact animal third and subsequent offenses, raised to $150.
Well, why don't you take a second here and explain to everybody what a reclaim fee is?
Reclaim fee is if your animal escapes your yard, runs off property, if somebody from the public finds it, turns it into the animal shelter, there's a reclaim fee to get that animal back for the owner. So the first offense, obviously, is going to be cheaper. It also depends upon whether or not your animal is spayed and neutered. So an altered animal means that it has been spayed and neutered, unaltered means intact, so it costs more to reclaim that animal.
So, okay, let me get this. Altered animal first offense is raised to 60.
Yes.
Now, what is an altered animal?
An altered animal spayed or has been spayed or neutered,
Okay. And an intact animal,
not spayed.
right, it's kind of obvious.
Right. Bigger problem than just running around.
Okay.
You want some more
Just
details, Jim?
a really nice way to put it, intact.
I didn't make that up.
We want to ask you about your status.
I'm intact.
Motion to approve.
I'm sorry, I apologize, but she dared me. I'm sorry, go ahead, what?
I said motion to approve.
I second.
Discombobulated here. I got a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Thank you, and I apologize, Jim. Porter County Museum, Kevin Pacer. Kevin? We've got a request to use the courthouse grounds for the Living History event on Saturday, August 17th, from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. IT, Lee Childers. Adams Remco, a new copier purchase agreement for the Portage Prosecutor's Office in the amount of $6,997.20. Can we do these together, Scott?
Yes.
And we have an Adams Remco, a copier maintenance agreement for the Portage Prosecutor's Office in the amount of $621 annually. This will be paid by the prosecutor. Is that it, sir?
That's it?
Need a motion?
Yes, we do.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the new copier purchase agreement for the Portage Prosecutor's Office in the amount of $6,997.20 with Adams Remco, and the copier maintenance agreement for same in the amount of $621 annually with Adams Remco.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Highway Department, Jim Blair. We have a, Scott, can we do all these together too?
We can do all the transfers, and then the 5 we need to do separate.
Okay. We've got a request to transfer funds, Fund 4921 Foundation Holdings account in the amount of $1,500,000 from account 6100 inter-fund transfer to fund Community Crossings matching grant. We have another request to transfer funds, Fund 9400 LR&B match grant in the amount of $1,500,000 from account 6100 inter-fund transfer to fund Community Crossings matching grant. And then we have a request to transfer funds, Fund 1169 local roads and streets in the amount of $30,000 and account 6100 inter-fund transfer to fund Community Crossing matching grant. And then we have a request to transfer funds, Fund 9400 LNR&B match grant in the amount of $30,000 from account 2362 by Tuminous to fund Community Crossings matching grant.
These are to fund the community crossings that we just opened up this morning. They are on the council's agenda for Tuesday,
Okay.
a week from today.
Okay.
So, I know we haven't got to the award yet, but it looks like maybe 150,000 we need to find to finish this grant?
Yeah, Martin had a little bit extra in there, so we'll see if we come in and we may have to find a little bit more.
Good bids.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the request to transfer funds to fund the Community Crossing matching grant from Fund 4921 to 6100 in the amount of $1.5 million, from Fund 9400 to 6100 in the amount of $1.5 million, from Fund 1169 to 6100 in the amount of $30,000, and from Fund 9400 to Fund 2362 in the amount of $30,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Porter County Highway Staging Agreement.
Yeah, this would be between Brad Mesker, the landowner.
This is just the plain.
This is the general
The general
policy.
agreement.
Or Scott, have you looked at this?
I wrote it, so basically it just takes, it serves to document why we have a staging area, and then the liability of the citizen who's allowing us to have the staging area, along with the map to show us the ingress and egress of the area and the time that will be there, basically to protect the citizens who are allowing us to do this, and for the county to have a way of knowing why we are in a place that's not necessarily a garage.
Right. Yeah, this all come about because, from time to time, our equipment will be sitting on private property. People will drive by with, why is highway equipment sitting on private property? Well, because we've gone into a verbal agreement in the past with the landowner letting us use typically the front portion of the property for a staging area because we have a project very close by. So we don't have to take that equipment, clear back to the garage each time we go to use it for the next week or two or month, correct?
Correct.
All right.
I move that we approve the Porter County Highway staging agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Okay, we have Brown Equipment Company quote for a Booker North American street sweeper in the amount of $321,000.
Right, what this is we have one street sweeper right now, it's been broke down for almost several weeks. And the company that the sweeper is through tells us the parts are 10 weeks away, and that's on an emergency order. We already have a street sweeper scheduled for purchase next year, so this just kind of bumps it up a few months. We'll have money, we have the cash in LRS, so if you approve it, I'll go to the council and get an additional the end of August. I have spoken to our two council liaisons, and they're okay with it, and this budget I submitted for next year will just take this off of that budget. And this one is approximately $20,000 cheaper than if we were to order one next year.
And this street sweeper is critical to our.
Correct, especially this time of year with chip seal, because
Yeah.
that's what we use to go sweep up the loose
Yeah.
chips after we chip seal the road, and right now, we don't have the ability to do it.
Right, so the chip seal's laid down, the loose gravel is swept up. You
Correct.
come by, after you let that settle a little bit, seal it, correct? And what do you call that?
Fog seal.
Fog seal. And that's why some people think it's blacktop. It's not blacktop, it's chip and seal, but those processes have to take place. Without a sweeper,
They can't take place.
they can't take place. And, we're in a fix here, so it's very important that we get this as soon as possible, because
Right.
we have neighbors, some of our neighbors are complaining about it, rightfully so. I drove down Old Suman Road yesterday, and yeah, it looks like a nice gravel road, but it needs to be swept and it needs to be sealed.
Right,
So
I'm still waiting for some callbacks from rental companies to see if we can rent these street sweeper to get us by for a month, but I have
I know you
been striking out on that so far.
you and your staff have been doing a lot to try to alleviate it, and we appreciate it. But it is what it is. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it figured out. It's just people, everybody needs to be patient. Okay. You have anything else?
No, if you could just approve the purchase of this pending
That would help.
council
I move that we
appropriation.
approve the purchase of the Booker North American street sweeper
Say that-
in the amount
say
of
that fast 3 times.
$321,000 with Brown Equipment Company.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, not just because I apologize, I talked over Barb, to approve a street sweeper from Brown Equipment Company in the amount of $321,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Reeve Riley was the lowest bidder. Martin and Chris went back, went through the numbers, and the numbers look good, so we would recommend awarding the contract to Reeve Riley Construction in the amount of $1,192,322.96 for community crossings.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Staging area, can we approve this one for down at Malden?
No, we're gonna go ahead and we'll put that on the next agenda and approve it. We've approved the form, so now you can have it filled out. We'll put it on the next agenda with that particular
With that
property.
property. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
So I have real quick, Scott, if we have a general policy in place, why is it necessary to bring each one of those up in front of us for approval then?
So that we have a record of why we were somewhere in 10 or 5 or 3 years. And then also part of that was if we do improvements at the location, the commissioners approve whatever improvements are done at the actual location.
And there's no money being trading hands here.
The county has used that site for decades.
Right, okay. All right, thank you, Scott.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Jim.
Thank you.
Development and Stormwater Management, Mike Jabo. A United Consulting Construction Engineering Contract for Bridge 80 in the amount of $141,000. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Bridge 80, County Road 300 West over Cornell Ditch in Boone Township. Recommend that the county approve a not-to-exceed amount of $141,000 with United Consulting for construction engineering.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the construction engineering contract for Bridge 80 in the amount of $141,000 with United Consulting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those for approval, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Next item is a construction engineering agreement with United Consulting for Bridge 110, which is County Road 600 East over Crooked Creek in Washington Township, for a not-to-exceed amount of $153,700. We recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Next is a construction engineering agreement with Butler, Fairman, and Seifert for Bridge 109, which is Lindbergh Road over Salt Creek in Portage Township, for a not-to-exceed amount of $260,000 and no cents. Recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. You skipped over 3 to get to 4. Is that all? Is 3 and 4 the same?
3 and 4 now is the plan sheet, which you have a copy in your office.
Okay.
The title sheet acknowledging the county approves the plan. Staff has looked at the bridge plans and recommend your approval for Bridge 1009.
Have we approved that yet?
No, we haven't approved that.
No, I move that we approve the design documents for Bridge 1009.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
The next item is for the Marquette Trail, phases 3 and 4. SEH has been our consultant for many years on this project, and we're doing work within the NDOT right-of-way, which is US 12. When they apply for permit, we can assign them to represent us in front of NDOT to make the application and all. This is just asking for that approval. You sign this letter that was in your packet, and they provide that to NDOT so they can do business for us at NDOT. It doesn't involve any money or anything like that.
And Scott, there's no problem with those.
Correct.
I move that we approve the authorization for SEH Design Consultant to act on the county's behalf, right-of-way permit from NDOT to Marquette Greenway Calumet Trail phases 3 and 4.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Next item is an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding between Porter County and the town of Hebron for the creation of a one-lot subdivision on the very south border of the town. The town is looking to develop that parcel, but before they can develop, it needs to be subdivided so they can annex it, because it's part of 2 larger, much larger parcels. In discussion with the town, I discussed with the county attorney to prepare an MOU to that regard, where we will entertain at the plan commission the subdivision and offer variances with no questions asked, but reasonable, so that the town would immediately turn around and describe it and annex that new parcel, one-lot subdivision into the town. They would then develop it according to their standards, not ours, as it's being in the town. So this has been given to the county attorney for his concurrence. He's recommended, or not recommended, but he approved. And if we can get this done today, the town of Hebron meets tonight, they will sign it tonight at their council meeting.
I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding between Porter County and the town of Hebron related to the one-lot subdivision.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Next item is the State of Indiana Covered Bridge Certification. I believe this is an annual report where you report the number of covered bridges. We have none. Nonetheless, we still have to turn it in. I recommend approval and signature by the commissioners.
Do you believe we have none?
I know we have.
We
none.
have.
Do we need to vote on this, Scott, or can we just sign it?
Vote on it.
Okay, I move that we approve the annual report to the state of Indiana regarding our covered bridge certification.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Next is a memorandum of understanding agreement between the Federal Highway Administration and the Indiana Historical Preservation Officer for the environmental documentation in regard to the Willow Creek Road Extension Project. As you are quite aware, the project is going through its environmental process. We expect to have a public hearing on the project, or at least the documentation from the environmental process, sometime before Thanksgiving, God willing. In the meantime, there's some other paperwork. There were some sites scattered throughout the project area. The area is much more encompassing than just the alignment. But one is an example is south of State Road 130, there was thought to be some historic relics found or some matters such as those. Rather than spending tons of money exploring at this time, all this agreement does is say that if we discover those later on during project development, then we will do the proper studies, recovery, etc. for these historical pieces. So NDOT has already signed it as part of the partner. We will execute that. We recommend execution by the county commissioners, and then the Federal Highway Indiana Historical will sign it.
Now, Structure Point is doing this environmental study right now and has been doing this for over a
Correct.
year, right? Why are they not working with
They are.
Okay.
They're the ones that gave this to me. Their
Oh, okay.
environmental staff
Okay.
gave this to me to ask for your approval.
I move that we approve the memorandum of agreement between the Federal Highway Works Administration for Indiana State Historic Preservation Officer and Porter County with regard to environmental documentation for the Willow Creek Road Extension Project.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Lastly, the memorandum of understanding between NERC, Lake County, LaPorte County, and Porter County for the funding and development of a safety action plan. In the infrastructure bill that passed Congress a couple years ago, certain monies were set aside for various programs and projects. Federal Highway Administration is taking a zero accident, I forget what the term is, zero accidents is what their goal is. In other words, they're putting a lot of stress on safety on the public roadways. Traffic's shown that traffic statistics at crash rates are going up as opposed to other countries around the world. And so there's an additional emphasis on that. You will see in the future, and we hope to come before you looking for other funds. There are going to be other programs for us to get federal dollars like we do every year at NERC. There's also some projects that we can compete as part of this infrastructure bill on a nationwide basis for safety-related projects. In order to do the safety-related projects, you have to have a safety action plan, which is very involved with public involvement and looking at the crashes and making a plan on how you intend to address them. Once we have this plan in place, it sets us up to go after other funding for capital-type improvements.
Are you gonna do the plan in-house, or are you gonna contract that out?
We will contract it out. We're estimating
That what that $30,000 is?
we estimate the plan could be as much as $500,000. We're hoping to get 80% of that from the federal government, or Federal Highway Administration, or the U.S. Department of Transportation. And then we would share the match based on 500,000, 20%, that's 100,000. Porter County would pay 30,000. LaPorte County would pay the same, Lake County would pay the same, and NERC would pay 10. In addition, NERC will also provide project management for the project. This will go out as an if we are awarded. We're not even awarded. This is just to agree to go after the money. If we are awarded, number one, we would enter into an agreement between the four parties again. And number two, we'd be involved in the selection process and the management, but NERC would take care of the day-to-day operations of it, which would be a very good help.
Does Highway 30 get covered by this? heading east. I know that one intersection is so bad.
I imagine the intersections you could if it's off the highway, but that's INDOT's highway, as you
Yeah.
well know. But I imagine those things would pop up as part of the study.
I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding with the joint application for federal funds for the preparation of the safety action plan in the U.S. DOT Safe Streets and Roads for all SS4A programs between Porter County, LaPorte County, Lake County, and Nerve State.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Sachek? Sachek. We have a request for road closure at the intersection of Sweet Bay Street and Glendale Drive, and also Glendale Drive and Maryland Way on September 27th from 2 p.m. until 10 p.m. for a block party in the Magnolia subdivision. Are we invited?
You are invited,
All right.
it's July
All
27th.
right, the sheriff has been notified and they approve.
Awesome. And all the neighbors involved will also verbally agree to this too, so.
That sounds like a good time.
It will be, and you're welcome to come.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Thank you very much for your time.
Any other matter which may...
I have one thing.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Scott left at the wrong time, but I wanted, in light of the recent Supreme Court decision about gratuities, I've been looking at what we have in place, and in our code, under conflict of interest, we have no officers or employees of the county shall solicit or accept gratuities, favors, or anything of monetary value from consultants, potential consultants, or parties to sub-agreements unless in accordance with this conflict of interest policy. The aforementioned prohibition does not include gratuities, favors, or anything of monetary value under $50. Any financial interest under $50 shall be considered not substantial in accordance with the Code of Federal Regulations. So in talking with Scott, we're covered, but it's not really framed properly and in the right place. So we do want to look at it a little more, but...
Yeah, absolutely. So he's going to take a look at it,
Yeah.
bring it back to us amended as some type of recommendation.
Yeah, and where is that right now?
That is in our Porter County Code under conflict of interest, section 2-144, C1.
And this would be county policy.
Yes, and that's really what the Supreme Court did, was leave it in the hands of local government to regulate it.
Yeah. The only problem with that is, I don't mean it's a problem, it is a problem, is that our policies we cannot enforce our policies on the elected officials themselves.
Our current conflict of interest policy applies to the elected officials.
It does.
It explicitly applies, because it's not only in the employee handbook, but there's also a Porter County Code version that explicitly, that explicitly includes the elected officials.
Well, that's good.
And that is a requirement of the
Is
state.
that something new?
Yes, because we had to do it,
So it is new.
in the last 2 or 3 years, those changes came through INDOT, from the Fed highway to INDOT, which is why if you read it, it's very specific about the $50 gratuity being the threshold. That was the internal threshold that we set at the commissioner's level to be that threshold, but that was coming up through there. So we were required to have that as a policy through INDOT. So that's why our current conflicts of interest policy applies to not only employees and department heads, but it also applies to the elected officials.
I was mentioning when you were gone that we were looking at framing it a little differently, and
Yeah, just take a look at it to make sure it's doing what we all intended to do, is to not have those quid pro quo situations.
Yeah, because the reason I ask is, it wasn't that long ago where our policy did not apply to elected
Correct.
officials. You could not enforce it, which was like,
And now that threshold is
That's changed.
$50, and when you really read the language within our code, I'm struggling to imagine a scenario in which it wouldn't apply if there was in fact some sort of gift or gratuity or a favor, whether it was before or after the fact. But I think because of the Supreme Court decision, it's something we should take a look at, and if there's something we can bolster within our code, I think we should look at it.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, I think most people read that decision, and, you know, I'm in government, I read it, and I scratched my head, I was like, what? It didn't make sense to me, but nevertheless. All right, so you'll get, Scott, so you will bring back to us your amended?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any other matter which may properly come before the commissioners? Recess. Thank you.
Wait, public comment?
I just asked.
Oh, no, I didn't hear public comment. So may you please open it again? Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
This is for you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
This is the first meeting I've ever been to in this building where everything was approved. Not one denial on that. It was very interesting. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, it is kind of rare, isn't it?
I have a couple questions regarding the MOH. Barb, quick question, well, one of the questions. How much did you say the MOH raised in June at the last county council meeting?
Say that again?
How much did you say that the Memorial Opera House raised in June at the last county council meeting?
Did not.
You did, okay.
I did.
Next question, how much was the structural damage that you stated that the MOH found, and the amount that it's going to take to fix it? I know it was in like maybe a little over 150, do you recall that?
We don't have our
Okay.
construction manager here, so I don't know the actual cost.
How much was spent on the exterior?
That was phase one, I don't know what the costs were on that.
Okay, I remember that. And how much on the interior? How much are we putting in? Because I guess there was, an extra $250 that they had to kind of play with, but then you said there was structural damage. So I'm just curious, with all of the line items that was on the agenda today, where's the money going? Because, I mean, we keep spending and spending. You guys said this is done. You got $5 million, and now we're being milked for even more.
We're actually under budget
Yeah.
over there.
You guys said it was under budget, that Barb came in front of the county council and said that you guys had found structural damage, which was going to cost in upwards of $125 or more. I don't have the exact
But it's
amount, but all you
still
have to
under
do is go
budget.
back and watch the county council that I
I
said.
saw it, but we're still under budget.
We're still under
You'll
budget.
still be under budget.
Yes.
Even after finding the structural damage and then all of the items that you
Right.
raised today.
Right,
I find that
So we
surprising.
actually have peeled
I
off.
find that really
um,
surprising.
We've
So
peeled
there's
off
another
close
question
to-
that I have for you, Barb.
Wait a second, we've peeled off about $500,000 from
May
that project.
13th, 2024, you were quoted in the paper saying, the construction work will prevent a previously planned production of Guys and Dolls, but will take months and we'll have distributed the production schedule, whether it took place. So my question is, you guys gonna still come up in front of the county council here in the next couple months and ask for that $100,000 that you guys had previously asked for when the show had gotten canceled?
We've already taken care of that. And we don't need to go to the council for that.
Okay, I hope that's the case, because that's a lot of money that you guys keep pouring into a building. Oh, and then another question, the beautiful museum that you were in charge of, the old sheriff's residence, I decided to just kind of walk in and see what you've done with it. I'm appalled. You put up drywall where you could walk into the jail cell and all of that. Not to mention, when you go into the museum, that's horrendous. You know that they took all of the war memorabilia? It's gone. Now in there is art. There is one small little wall that's dedicated to the war memorabilia. It's a plaque. So
I'm not understanding what you're talking about.
maybe you should go through the two buildings because the old sheriff's residence, you know what I'm talking
Okay, the
about.
sheriff's residence,
Yes, when they moved the museum from there to where the old Esther and Gray is.
yes.
Okay, you put up drywall and whatnot in that beautiful historic building to make it into some little boutique.
We did not put up drywall.
Okay, so can you see through and see the jail cell and all that? Can you see to the back of the area? Because I was in there, there is drywall up to where there's no access.
We did not put up
Yeah.
drywall.
Well, somebody put up drywall. And then my other concern is, you know, we had
Well,
all of this
okay.
memorabilia that was inside of the museum. Now the museum is saying, we've got that preserved somewhere.
Kevin had moved everything of value out of the sheriff's residence.
Where is all of that? And how come
Wherever
it's not
he
being
put it.
displayed?
Wherever he put it.
How come is that not a concern for you? For
Well,
me, it is.
But Dawn, that's property of
Of
the
the museum.
museum, not the Board of Commissioners.
Right.
Okay, but the Board of, I get that. The commissioners, and this was Barb's baby, she wanted the sheriff's residence. Okay, at this point,
Well,
again,
all
we
right.
should have went with Blaney's idea and just did the expansion, because what you
Don-
did
Don-
to that residence was not right.
John, let
But
me
we didn't
make
put
something.
it- We didn't
Barb,
put anything up.
Barb didn't do anything to that building this board did not approve, okay? That is not Barb's project. That was a project by the Porter County Board of Commissioners.
She wanted that building.
And let me remind everybody, that building sat empty for how long?
I know what you're missing.
4 years?
And, but why did the museum move out of that building? I know a lot of different answers to that question. Where is all of the relics that was
Well,
in that
you'll have
place?
to talk to the director of the museum.
I did
because-
talk to him.
Okay.
I actually did the little tour that he
Okay.
put on for us.
Okay.
And now we have
But
art
we're
in
not
there, modern art,
responsible.
instead of our war memorabilia. Where is all?
I don't want to, Barb, hang on a second. This is clearly in the agenda. I just want to point this out to everybody. This is a public comment section of our agenda, okay?
And this is part of the
Well,
agenda,
hang on,
Commissioner Biggs.
but
This is part of the
I
agenda.
understand, Dawn, but you're asking a lot of questions.
Questions that should be
Well, that's not
asked
what this,
anyway.
that's not what the public comment section's about. It's
Sure.
just coming up here and making a comment. Now, I know you know Barb. I know you even likely have her cell phone, or mine. And, you know, I just think it'd be more appropriate if you want somebody to take time to answer your question, so we're not up here, you know, going back and forth.
It should be public knowledge
Well,
that our money is
has
being
been public-
wasted, recklessly spent.
Dawn,
on the
Dawn,
information.
that is your opinion.
That's not just
And you're
my
entitled to
opinion.
that.
It's not
I'm sure
just
you're
mine.
not the only one that thinks that, okay?
Oh, I know I'm not the
Okay,
only one.
okay.
You guys are saying that
Okay.
Porter County is broke. Porter County is broke, but yet we're still pouring all kinds of money into the Memorial Opera House, into the sheriff's residence.
There's not a single,
into a
there's not a
museum.
single dollar of property taxes or income taxes that are going in that building.
You took ARPA money, did you not?
Yeah.
Okay, that's our taxpayer money.
Well, that's.
You know, we have to pay that
That's federal
back.
money that we receive through the
And that we
American
have to pay
Rescue
back,
Act.
correct?
And that's a building that
We
we
have-
are
I'm sorry.
responsible
We do have to
for.
pay that back.
Oh,
I mean, that comes-
absolutely not.
Okay, so that is taxpayer dollars.
Absolutely not. We have to pay that back.
Okay,
No, we
we
don't.
do. But thank you for your time.
So,
What'd you ask
Dawn,
me?
can I just explain the
Sure,
money
absolutely.
that was being used to renovate so that we could lease out the sheriff's residence was a loan from the redevelopment commission.
Yes, I know that too.
Which is being repaid as the lease payments are coming in from the business.
Have you been into the business, though, is my
Absolutely,
question.
many times. We did not put up any drywall. No drywall
I
between.
must have been hallucinating when I went and took the tour.
I'm not aware of any dry up. Now, there's drywall upstairs that
Keep the-
temporary, to keep
Yeah.
the heat from,
Yeah.
you know, escaping from
Can't
downstairs.
go upstairs, I mean, I wasn't upstairs.
Okay.
Well, but we could not lease the second floor. And so for security reasons and to keep the utility costs for the people leasing that building for their business, we put that temporary drywall off so that they would not have to pay to heat and cool the second floor.
And
Because they
again,
weren't.
So you're saying that there is drywall on?
Temporary, that's just temporary,
Okay.
for the second floor.
Okay.
And for safety reasons too, because
that place upstairs has never been renovated. It's not safe for the public right now. So we did not want people just wandering up there and potentially getting hurt. So that was for safety that we did that. But that's just temporary, that can come down at just the end of the night.
But John,
No.
you know, you can call anytime and ask any question you want to ask.
Commissioner Biggs, with all due respect, I think that it's best to let the public know what's going on with our money. I mean, I took off the work today to come up because of this. Because that's how passionate I
But
was.
Dawn, there's not a-
Because I was told that this place is not self-sufficient. This came from Valparaiso.
Well,
So, I mean,
there's not a dollar that has spent in either of those buildings that
Not
hasn't
yet.
first passed through this board and passed through the county council. So to suggest that that some of this, or a portion of this, or all of this is not being vetted through the public process is woefully wrong.
Well, and John, the other thing is,
It's terribly wrong.
Commissioner Biggs, again, with all due respect, I disagree. Because a lot of people were not aware of the big build-out for the MOH. A lot of people are not aware of the money that's going into this
Well, I'm not,
building and the other
I'm
schools.
not defending that.
And you were on record saying, we're not in the entertainment business.
That's right.
So we should not be. So
Yeah,
why are
but
we still dumping
what I am in the
money
business
into it?
of is taking on my responsibilities as a county commissioner to make sure that building that we own is taken care of and it's safe
That you
for our
guys are
residents
willing
coming
to
in
give
and out.
away to Valpo once it's all taken care of.
Well, we'll see about that.
Okay, thank you.
and by the way, John, we don't have numbers, dollars, we don't have them memorized. So when you come, and we're not prepared to give numbers, I mean, I don't think you can expect us, we're not the construction manager, and Gilman isn't here anymore, and they might not even know the exact dollar amount.
But don't you think somebody should? I mean, I know the numbers, I have them written down, that's not my job. I'm not
Well,
Gilman,
we
I'm
have
not a
them-
commissioner,
we
I'm
have-
not even a county councilman.
we have them
I'm
written
not
down
getting
someplace.
paid to do what you guys should be giving us, the people.
We have them
Well,
written down someplace.
I'm baffled. Hang on a second. See, now you're starting to get on my skin. I don't like the allegation that we're keeping something from you or anybody else.
You're not keeping anything from me because I do my due diligence.
Well, and
I
we
look up
do
what's
ours
going
up here
on.
as well.
She's the one that said she didn't have the numbers. I am saying,
Well,
I have the numbers.
She doesn't have them in front of her.
Okay, well, somebody should be able to.
Well, how
give
would
those
she know
answers.
you're going to come in here today and ask those questions?
Of course
You're
she would.
entitled to ask
Of
those.
course she
That's not
would
what
not
has
have
me
that.
upset. What has me upset is the allegations that we're not giving information, we're withholding information to the public in regard to those two projects. And that is terribly wrong and inaccurate.
I'm sorry that you feel that way, but it's not.
Well, then,
In
you know
every
what?
commissioner's
Then you need to back that up. You need
I
to back
can
that
back
up.
that up, Commissioner Biggs, with all due respect, I can. I can back it up. Lots and lots of people do not even know still about the Memorial Opera House and how much funding was stolen. That $5 million that was stolen from the very top.
Stolen. I don't understand what you're saying.
That's a pretty...
We got $33.3 million in ARPA funding.
Mhm.
$5 million of that automatically went to the Memorial Opera House. And then there was a tug of war between Rivas and between Mike Justin. Oh, if you guys do not give this $5 million to the Memorial Opera House, we will not give any money to any of the nonprofits. So again, this money was stolen from the top. It's being recklessly spent,
Well,
and
You can disagree that, look, you can disagree, how much of the art funds were taken for the renovation of Memorial Opera House. You're entitled to that.
disagree, there's no disagreement.
but you can't-
With all due respect,
Barb, don't use the
Commissioner
word
Biggs, I can
stolen.
show people, I can prove to you and to everybody else, obviously you know this already, that $5 million was taken and allocated for.
Allocated,
Yeah.
allocated.
It was on, and I'm on,
And you wanted
and I was on
$9.8 million, so,
And I was on record and not approving it.
right, and then at one point.
But it was not
you had to.
stolen.
At one point you had to, but $9.8
Uh,
million,
okay.
I'm sorry, that really was reckless, so thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice, yes, sir.
One thing of interest to everybody here that travels south of 30 on 49, they put a new bridge in south of Alden. anybody's drove over it, it's like a roller coaster. For public information, last week, I called the Department of Transportation in Indianapolis, complained to them about it. I had an email on my phone yesterday. They had the Ford engineers over, the contractor has got to get a piece of the equipment to level it off so it's going to be stable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.